Hey everyone, intuitive and astrologer Lisa Salvatore here to talk to you about the beginning of March up through the full moon in Virgo that takes place on March 7th, and quite the big shift of Saturn entering the sign of Pisces, also the same day as this full moon. Now, March is a really powerful month. It is a big month. As I'm saying this, I feel it throughout my body. This is going to be a very big month, like I mentioned in my yearly forecast, and you've probably heard many other astrologers speak about the month of March. It's really like 2023 begins in March. I mean, yes, absolutely. On the world stage, we have seen so much going on and continues to go on, and that will definitely be ramping up throughout the month of March, okay? But there's just a lot to it. Also, on the personal level, we are all feeling this theme of transformation at a very, very deep level. There are going to be several shifts throughout the month of March, and I'm going to only do up to the first half in this video, and then I'll come back and do a part 2 with the second half of March. So again, big transformations that are taking place both in our personal lives and also on the world stage. Now, I'll get more into this in part 2 of March, but March is really the rebirth of the astrological new year because it begins Aries season. And that's not going to be until March 20th, 21st. But when Aries season begins, we now begin another trek throughout the zodiac. It's the astrological new year, rebirth energy. Now, with the sun's ingress into the sign of Aries, we start a whole new cycle. It is new life, new energy. And again, there's also quite a few significant planetary changes that are occurring in the month of March. Never mind throughout the rest of the year, but we're specifically talking about the month of March, and it is extremely powerful. And it is wise to pay extra close attention to everything and anything that is going on. Yes, of course, outside of you, but more importantly, inside of you. Okay, so let's first talk about March 2nd. Mercury, the planet of communication, it rules over our mind, the way that we think, the way that we speak, the way that we process information. Mercury is going to move into the sign of Pisces. And Mercury will be in Pisces for the next few weeks. Now, when the planets shift into the next sign, this is a collective shift that we all feel, and the undertone of the collective energy tends to take on that of where it is, collectively speaking. So Mercury will now be in Pisces as of March 2nd. Now, Mercury is said to be in its fall when it's in the sign of Pisces, okay? Meaning it struggles a little bit. It doesn't really do its best. For example, the opposite sign of Pisces is Virgo, and that is where Mercury is in its domicile. Mercury rules Virgo, so Mercury is very, very comfortable in the sign of Virgo. So it would only make sense that the opposite sign of Pisces, Mercury would be a little bit more uncomfortable in. Now, that's not to say that if you have Mercury in Pisces, it's a bad thing, because it isn't. There's a lot of positive qualities to this, and that we will see play out collectively. So for example, Mercury in Pisces is very intuitive, it's very soulful, it's very compassionate, it's very creative. However, it lives in the area of the subconscious versus the conscious. And this is why it can be very difficult, because Mercury, again, this is a planet of communication. It's speedy, it's factual, it likes things to be direct. Mercury, the planet, is all about conscious reasoning, amongst many other things, but it is all about conscious reasoning. And Pisces is more of an unconscious reasoning. It's that we feel that we may not be able to see. And again, Mercury is just not that comfortable there, because the brain wants the conscious reasoning, not the unconscious reasoning. But this is where we're going to have to drop in and truly trust the unconscious energies right now. Again, pay very close attention. Now again, in Pisces, Mercury is slightly uncomfortable, but the positive sides to this energy would be that our inner voices are amplified, our intuition is heightened, our awareness is heightened, but you must drop in and listen. You must drop in and trust. You must connect. Mercury in Pisces can definitely cause an overwhelmed feeling, even mental burnout or overload, especially if you're more of a logics and facts-based individual. You may struggle a little bit while Mercury is in Pisces. So pay attention over the next few weeks how your communications are, and check out what sign your Mercury is in. Because chances are, if you have Mercury in a water sign, which is Cancer, Pisces, or Scorpio, you will probably do very well while Mercury is in Pisces. It's the stronger air energy that would have more of a difficult time while Mercury is in Pisces. Okay, so that's kind of more of like an easygoing energy that's going to start off the month of March. But then we start to build up towards March 7th. And now as soon as March enters, we are going to be feeling the build up to this energy. I really don't know how else to say this. So the full moon that takes place on March 7th, it is in the sign of Virgo. And on this very same day, we have quite a significant planetary shift. Saturn, the planet of hard work, restrictions, boundaries, lessons. It's very karmic. It's all about timing. Saturn is going to leave the sign of Aquarius and shift into the sign of Pisces. That's going to happen right at the tails of the full moon. But first, let's go back and talk about the full moon since it does occur before Saturn's entrance into Pisces. This full moon will take place at 7:40 a.m. Eastern Time in the sign of Virgo on March 7th. It's at 16 degrees of Virgo. This is actually the third of 4 full moons that are going to take place at that 16th degree. And Saturn, at the time of this full moon, is going to be at the 29th degree of Aquarius, which is considered the anaretic degree, which when we get to the anaretic degree of a specific planet in a sign, the energies of that planet are ramped up. And typically the shadow energies are usually the most heightened around that 29th degree. So Saturn will be at the 29th degree in Aquarius, getting ready to shift into Pisces for a 2.5-year cycle. So this is a big deal. At the same time, Pluto in Capricorn is also at the 29th degree, okay? Now, we have seen what is going on with the world, okay? We've got fires, we've got destruction, we've got chaos. We have massive transformations taking place on every single level. Every day we're waking up to something new. Pluto and Saturn are traditionally considered malefics, which means they don't necessarily always bring in negative circumstances, but they bring in a specific realistic set of circumstances, things that are crucial, things that need to be dealt with. And again, we're talking about the world stage here, okay? Yes, of course, on the personal level, and we'll get to that. But on the world stage, we're seeing so much play out right now. It is all very, very ramped up. March is definitely the month that you are going to really want to be paying very closer attention than normal to your surroundings at all times. Extra mindfulness, extra caution, all of this is going to go a really long way in the month of March. Take care of your physical body as best as you can. Make sure you're trying to get adequate sleep. I know it is really difficult these days, but try. Anxiety, stress to the nervous system, this is all going to be very pronounced the earlier part of March, actually the whole entire month, but specifically around the full moon. And especially for my folks that have strong Gemini and Virgo in their birth chart, you are going to feel very, very ramped up, definitely. And if it doesn't take form as anxiety, it's just going to be like this overload to the nervous system, crazy amounts of energy throughout the body. And this is not just isolated to Gemini and Virgo. That's actually going to be for everybody. But if you do have strong Gemini and Virgo, you're going to feel this that much more. If you have strong mutable energy, which is Pisces, Sagittarius, Gemini, or Virgo, you're going to feel this that much more. It's going to be that much more important for you to go inward, to drop in, to reflect, to take care of yourself. You go to your spiritual toolbox and utilize whatever it is that helps to take you down, that helps to bring you down, calm you down, bring you to your center. You're going to want to do that. You're going to want to go there. Okay, so before I pull up the chart for the full moon, let's talk about, we know what full moons are, right? When we have a full moon, it is when the sun and the moon are opposite each other in the opposing signs. And so this full moon is taking place in the sign of Virgo. The sun is in the sign of Pisces. The moon is exactly opposite at 16 degrees of Virgo. The Virgo-Pisces axis is all about healing, but in different ways. Virgo speaks more to the physical healing, the body, the physical vessel, and Pisces speaks to more of the metaphysical healing, the spiritual healing. It's about the spirit, the soul. And these two can absolutely coexist, but remember, it's oppositional energies. So we could feel like there's a crisis of consciousness going on within us and outside of us, but we don't really know what to do for our own healing. But something will definitely be illuminated for you to show you where you are out of balance. It's going to be a highly emotional time, highly sensitive. This full moon is going to pull focus onto healing, on where you need a little bit more healing, a little bit of extra healing. Also speaks to our work and our service. So where we are doing our work out in the world and where we are being of service both to ourselves and to others. That's also going to come up under this energy. Our day-to-day habits and functions and routines, because that's Virgo, right? Speaks to our daily life, our daily routines, our daily habits, our daily rituals. Pisces is a sign of rituals. It's very spiritual. What are your spiritual rituals? Do you journal? Do you meditate? All things that are going to come up under this energy. Our emotional needs are definitely being illuminated. This is about that which is practical, which is Virgo, versus that which might be impractical, which is Pisces. Again, the conscious versus the unconscious. There's also some oppositional energies here having to do with criticism versus acceptance. And again, this is criticism of the self and criticism of others, acceptance of the self, acceptance of others. This is Virgo and Pisces. With the oppositional signs, I always speak to it as the seesaw effect. You don't want to go too far down on one side of the seesaw because then the other side is going to come popping up. We want to try to find that middle ground here. Think about the Virgo-Pisces axis this way. Virgo can be a perfectionist. They want things to be just so. And because of that, they can also be extremely critical, overly critical of the self, of course, and then also of others. Pisces, on the other hand, can be overly accepting, almost to its detriment. So we want to strike the balance here between criticism and acceptance. First and foremost of the self, and then naturally, of course, of others, of our relationships. It's also about conditional versus unconditional love. Again, this is eyes wide open energy, especially the third eye. That's Pisces, third eye. Eyes wide open, I'll say, okay? Trust what's in here first and foremost, because that is the only way. You might also feel under this energy that your faith is being challenged, or that which you believe in or have believed in is being challenged. So you may be asking yourself, who do I believe in? What do I believe? There's also something here about a strengthening of boundaries, because remember, Saturn, the planet of boundaries, is also going to be moving into Pisces right after this full moon. So there's something here about our own personal boundaries, what we tolerate, what we don't, what we're willing to let more in of, and what we're willing to let out. Now, I also want to mention what is going on in Ohio, okay? I've been following it since day one. And I think this is so indicative of our future. I don't think people truly realize just how much comes out of Ohio in terms of crops, cattle. It's really quite devastating. And we're going to be feeling the effects of this for years to come. Not to be all doom and gloom, but this is just the reality that we are facing. Now, we are under Pisces season. Pisces symbol is the two fish swimming in the opposite directions. Think about how many fish have been turning up dead in the Ohio River. I'm not saying that's because it's Pisces season. I'm just using the fish as a reference. But more than that, Pisces, the ruler of Pisces is actually Jupiter. The traditional ruler of Pisces is Jupiter, okay? Jupiter's about expansion, okay? Making things more. The co-ruler of Pisces is Neptune. Neptune rules over many things, but some of the functions of Neptune are toxins, pollutants. We're dealing with a lot when it comes to air quality in all different parts of the world. Again, around this full moon, we're dealing with health also. Hygiene, that's Virgo. Take really good care of yourself, especially if you are very close to the impacted areas. We're all going to be impacted on the East Coast, but specifically if you're closer to the impacted areas, you are going to want to take extra care of your health. I can say a lot more here, but I'm going to go right to the chart. Okay, here we have our Virgo full moon. It takes place March 7th, 7:40 a.m. Eastern Time. And we see up here we've got the sun at 16 degrees and 40 minutes of Pisces, directly opposite the moon here at 16 degrees and 40 minutes of Virgo. Now, we all will feel this full moon energy. We are all feeling this energy, but this is going to be the most pronounced for the mutable points and placements. Pisces, Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and even more so if those points and placements fall between 13 and 19 degrees of the signs. So you're definitely going to want to check your chart and see where the Pisces-Virgo axis falls. Okay, so I'm going to be real with you guys, as I always am. Today is February 20th that I'm recording this video, and I'm not digging the energy. I'm just not, okay? There's a lot going on. We all know it. We all feel it. And if I could put asterisks around March 1st through March 10th, I'm going to do so and just say that these are hot button days. All of March is, but specifically the 1st through the 10th, I want you to be overly conscious, overly aware of your surroundings and of what you're doing each and every single step of the way. How are you taking care of your body? Take good care of yourself, okay? Because if there ever is a time to spin out, it's going to be now. That's not to scare you, just to be more mindful of it. So I already mentioned that Pluto's up here at 29 degrees, okay? The 29th degree, ramped up. Pluto is going to shift into Aquarius on March 23rd. So he is getting ready to get out of Capricorn for a little while and move into Aquarius. So again, the properties of Pluto: deconstruction, transformation, taking things down to the ground to build them back up. This is all very pronounced right now. Pluto strips away the old life to bring in the new so that we can breathe fresher air, literally and metaphorically speaking. Now, this is also pronounced on a personal level for everybody, so this is going to be different according to your own unique astrological, spiritual, psychological makeup. But Pluto is working on and with all of us to help us transform personally in one or more areas of our lives. And again, under this energy, the healing component will be highlighted. The physical and the emotional and the spiritual healing. Okay, and Saturn is up here at 29 degrees of Aquarius, about to shift into Pisces as well. So we know Saturn's energies are also ramped up. We could be feeling very frustrated under this full moon. We could be feeling very isolated maybe even, or lonely. melancholy. It's par for the course with this energy. Now, Pluto is also harshly aspecting the nodal axis, okay? We've got the south node over here at Scorpio at 4 degrees, directly opposite the north node over here in Taurus at 4 degrees. And Pluto up here at the 29th degree is squaring the nodal axis. The nodal axis represents the collective destiny. So we are being challenged. Absolutely, we are being challenged. We already see how this is playing out. Fire, literally, destruction, intensity, fear, it's all here. Now we've also got Uranus here at 15 degrees of Taurus, and Uranus is in a supportive aspect to this full moon because it is actually sextiling the sun in Pisces and trining the moon in Virgo. But yes, that's a supportive aspect, but Uranus is all about earthquakes. It's about flooding. It's about disruption to the weather patterns. We are dealing with all of this Neptunian energy, this Pisces energy, gas, pollutants, toxins, affecting the air that we breathe. We may find that there are more water-related issues coming up the month of March, especially around this full moon energy. And knock on wood, hopefully not with the earthquakes, but again, it's Uranus. Uranus is rocking and rolling. Positively speaking, with Uranus supportively aspecting this full moon, this could be good for us personally. This could give us some really great ideas that may seem impractical at first, but are actually practical. It's about resetting our path, resetting our course, doing things a different way, new ideas coming in. This could be very, very creative and very positive for us personally. But we also want to watch the potential erratic energy that Uranus can bring in. Also the erratic emotions. Again, just a highly sensitive time overall. The moon in Virgo can bring in a very nervous energy, okay? Virgo is ruled by Mercury, and Mercury is now in Pisces, the opposite sign of Virgo, so it just kind of adds a little bit to this discomfort. We can definitely feel this in our nervous system. There can definitely be an extra layer of anxiety to the energy, to the air, to you, to your system. So again, whatever your spiritual practices are, whatever it is that helps to keep you calm, keep you down, go there. Conscious breathwork is so helpful and so important. I talk about this all the time. If you don't really like to meditate or find it difficult to do so, go on YouTube. Put in binaural beats, meditations, rain noises, anything that just helps you drop into the body. There are so many apps that help you with breathing exercises, such as Breathe, B-R-E-E-T-H-E. I always talk about that app. It's great. There's also the Calm app, which is wonderful. There are ways to do it even if you're not inclined toward meditation. It's going to be really helpful if you start, because the nervous system will be activated. We've also got the sun in Pisces moving towards a conjunction with Neptune in Pisces. Neptune is at 24 degrees. And so this could just be pulling into focus an awareness of a potential blind spot that we've encountered, having something to do with our important relationships or an important document or a work situation. As the days progress after this full moon, just pay really close attention to what comes in for you. Now, Mars is over here in Gemini at 21 degrees of Gemini, okay? And Mars is squaring the moon at 16 Virgo and also squaring the sun at 16 Pisces, which is a T-square, which is a stressful, tension-based energy here. Again, nervous energy, anxiety, stress. I keep bringing this up because I know when we go through these experiences, it's often easier to forget. If you have animals, you are probably going to see them acting particularly wonky around this time. So try and help them out as well, because they're going to be spinning out just as much as we are. Now we're dealing with Pisces energy, so animal communication experts might not be a bad idea if you're having some issues with your animals. Just throwing it out there. Again, remember, Pisces is the unconscious, Virgo is the conscious. This is all about healing. The animals count here too. Virgo is a sign that is strongly linked to animals as well, and animal healing. Now we also want to watch out for addictive tendencies, okay? Be careful not to drain your energy any more than necessary. Now, addictive tendencies can take on the form in many different ways. It can be addictions to food. It can be addictions to alcohol, to people. We want to watch that under this energy because it's going to be enhanced. Codependency will be enhanced. Now is the time to free yourself, to be honest with yourself about where you've been feeling like you want to free yourself from any kind of addiction or habit that is not serving you. It's a great full moon to release around this. Okay, now I wanted to pull in some good here, okay? I was really digging, guys. I wanted to pull in some good, and I did find some. Okay, so if you've worked with me before, you know I love my asteroids. They just carry extra weight when you give a reading, especially when they're closely aligned to the planets in somebody's chart. So here we have the asteroid Apollon at 5 degrees of Scorpio, tightly lines up with the south node in Scorpio at 4 degrees and also opposite the north node in Taurus over here at 4 degrees. Apollon, long story short, speaks to expanded wisdom. You can even see the glyph here is actually the glyph of Jupiter and Gemini put together. Gemini is the mind, the intellect, the wit, and Jupiter is expansion. So this speaks to the expanded wisdom of this asteroid. He was also known as the sun god, the god of wisdom and prophecy. We're dealing with Pisces energy here. Prophecy is also linked to the sign of Pisces. It's a very psychic sign. It's very forward-thinking and visionary on the psychic level. So the insights could be really coming in around these times. This is all about heightened awareness and expanded consciousness. This is a good thing. Again, tap in and pay attention to the intuitive wisdom, also to what's going on with your body, because Virgo's about the body, and the body is also very intuitive. It speaks to us. You may find that your stomach is acting up around this full moon, digestive issues that wouldn't be uncommon or unheard of around these times. Peppermint tea does wonders, as does warm coconut milk if you can handle it, to calm the digestion. Now also, Hygeia is conjunct Pluto. Hygeia is just like what sounds like the word hygiene, okay? It's our hygiene. So again, I'm just going to highlight taking good care of the physical body, especially with what's going on outside, drinking clean, purified water, eating healthy foods that support your system, that support anxiety, as opposed to the addictions and the things that we can do that can actually make anxiety worse, like drinking alcohol. That increases anxiety long term. It may help short term, but it increases the anxiety long term. So this is about just kind of getting real with yourself about what you might need to shift or change to feel better. And then we also have asteroid Apollo over here at 2 degrees and 16 minutes of Scorpio, tightly lines up with the nodal axis here and Apollon. So again, remember the nodal axis is all about the destiny, right? Apollo and Apollon are speaking to expansion of wisdom and consciousness, prophecy, foresight, the ability to go deep and see things and feel things. So that's all going to be encouraged and pronounced under this full moon. Pay very close attention to your dreams. Make sure you're writing things down. There's going to likely be some snippets of insight for you into your future, into our future even. There's a strong element of healing to Apollo. Now, also speaking of healing, I did add in Haumea, who is the Hawaiian goddess of fertility, and she's over here at 0 degrees of Scorpio. So she's kind of, not that pronounced, but I'm putting her in here because I'm trying, again, guys, I'm really trying to pull in the good with this energy. So Haumea is all about, again, healing, feeding off the land, helping each other out, honoring the body. Again, she's the Hawaiian goddess of fertility, new life. Let's keep that in mind, okay? She is also lined up with the nodal axis, the future, but we must release certain parts, shadowy parts of our past, both collectively and personally, in order to get to that new future, the new life. This is about releasing the sickness of our past. Again, collectively speaking and personally speaking, it's about releasing the sickness, releasing the toxic energies and behaviors, creating better habits for ourselves. And again, Pluto and Saturn at the 29th degree here are only going to ramp that up. So just pay really close attention to what's revealed to you under this energy, especially on the personal level. Now, we've also got one more thing going on here that's important. We have Jupiter and Chiron, you can see right here. They're getting closer and closer to an exact alignment in the sign of Aries. They're going to align on March 12th. At 14 degrees and 27 minutes of Aries. And the reason why this is significant is because Jupiter and Chiron are not going to align like this again for another 50 years. Again, Jupiter is about the expansion of something. It's also a sign of faith and optimism and hope. Chiron speaks to where we are wounded. Chiron is the archetype of a specific wound that we house in our soul, in our psyche. It's rooted in previous lifetimes, also the present lifetime. And so things may be coming up for us that are having us question ourselves, questioning our own authority. Now, everybody born in the same year as you is going to have Chiron in the same sign, okay? It's important to remember that. But Chiron is placed very differently and uniquely for everybody by house placement, with the aspects it's making to other planets. So you're definitely going to want to look at your chart and see where Chiron falls, and then see where this conjunction of Jupiter and Chiron is going to fall by checking your transits. And you want to focus on the house, which is the areas of life in which this energy will be concentrated, because this will give you the aha moment of the archetypal wounds that you are holding. Because the purpose is to live up to your best self. This is the identity, right? And Aries is the first sign of the zodiac, which is associated with I am. This is me. This is my identity. So this Jupiter-Chiron conjunction is really going to be pulling into focus something along these lines of maybe what's holding us back from living out in totality to our true selves and what's realistic versus unrealistic. So this is going to be coming up around this full moon as well. So it's really, really powerful, especially on the emotional level, especially on the intuitive level, to pay very close attention to anything and everything that is coming up. Because again, there's a strong emphasis on prophecy right now. Personal prophecy. And hey, depending on how you roll, it may be universal prophecy that you're picking up on. Remember, Jupiter is granting us the opportunity to dig deep into the Chiron wound or wounds and to transcend them. In fact, I will link my Chiron video below that I did a couple years back so you can get more about Chiron and what it represents in the birth chart. Okay, so that was a lot. Let's get a tarot card for the full moon energy. Let's get an advice card for the full moon energy. Let's see what comes up. The Ten of Cups. Okay, so this is actually a really nice card to get and to see. And I believe if this is telling us that we need to focus on that which lights us up, which makes us feel good, that which is emotionally satisfying, okay? It's a highly emotional time. Cups represent emotions. The 10 is the wrap up of a cycle. We are at the end of a cycle. Very, very crucial times that we are in right now, both personally and collectively. The 10 of Cups is telling us to find the joy in the everyday. We have to. I'm a person that has always looked for the silver lining. I always look for the silver lining. I always try to make, lemonade out of lemons. I've always been that way. But lately, it's been damn tough. And I know I'm not the only one that feels like this. But we have to believe in something greater. We have to believe in something bigger than ourselves, outside of ourselves, okay? Whether you want to call that source, the divine, connection, whatever it is. That's what Pisces is all about. Divinity, connection, intuition, compassion. So utilize these energies of Pisces, go inward, and trust yourself. Also take really good care of yourself. And I will be back soon with the rest of March. If you don't already receive my newsletter, you can sign up at lisasalvatore.com. It's free. Put out a detailed energy report with the astrology each week. It comes out each Sunday. So that is available to my newsletter subscribers. You'll also be kept up on classes and workshops and readings. And also be sure to like, share, and subscribe if you appreciate this content. Take care.